All right, everybody, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. If you can find your seat. Good evening, everybody. I am James Stewart, the mayor of the city of Temecula. Most people call me Stu. Thank you, Susan Miyamoto, for the beautiful piano music. Susan has been a part of this holiday tradition. Yes. Susan has been a part of this holiday tradition since the very beginning. Susan and her family lived on the other side of Pueska Mountain for decades, and they were instrumental part of the community's battle to preserve Pueska Mountain. I am very proud to welcome all of you to the 2024 celebration of Pachanga's Pueska Mountain Day. I see many dignitaries here in the audience to recognize, but first, before we get started, it is my honor to recite the city's land acknowledgement to the Pachanga people. Okay, so some of you know I'm not the greatest with scripts, so I want to thank Paul Macaro for giving me the phonetics necessary to butcher this not quite as bad. And so I will begin the land acknowledgement. The city of Temecula acknowledges the Payom Cahuichum peoples as the traditional caretakers of the western Riverside County, northwest San Diego County, and the southern Channel Islands, as defined by the Payom Cahuichum oral traditions. The Payom Cahuichum nation recognizes their place of creation as Echva Temeku since time immemorial. This is where Tamayawat created the world and everything that surrounds us. The Pachanga people, first people, the Kamalam, were born at Echva Temeku, and the Axum, which means people in the Pachanga people's language, were born at Echva Temeku, and in time, the Axum lived throughout the land created by Tamayawat. What the Pachanga people define as traditional homeland. Today, the Payom Cahuichum nation continues to thrive in and is recognized as a sovereign nation in relationship with the United States and the state of California. The Payom Cahuichum nation is represented by the La Jolla Band of Indians, the Paula Band of Mission Indians, the Palma Band of Luceña Indians, the Palma and Palma and Yuma Reservation, the Pachanga Band of Indians and the Pachanga Reservation, the Rincon Band of Indians of the Rincon Reservation, and the Soboba Band of Indians. The reservations of the Payom Cahuichum Nation are now within San Diego and Riverside County. Welcome again, everyone. This is the November 15th holidays that we created in 2012 in partnership with the Pachanga people after battling for years this huge mine that was going to basically be one of the largest gravel pits in the nation. Our entire valley pulled together over 7 years to fight and protect our community from the project that would have caused significant harm to the quality of life here in Temecula. Importantly, it would have irreversibly destroyed Pachanga's sacred creation area, Pueska Mountain. When I say it was a huge mine, we're talking 1,600 gravel trips per day, every single day, at our south end of the Temecula border. right off the 15 freeway across from Temecula Creek Inn. This terrifying project brought our community together in a battle for our city's life, and it was much more consequential for the tribe. We are eternally grateful as a city and as a community to Pechanga. They saved Temecula. As we watch the mountain that weeps tonight and reflect on its significance, one lesson we can learn as non-native officials: the county or the city governments do not dictate what is or is not sacred land to the tribe. The tribe knows what is sacred and culturally significant, not us. With that, we have the privilege to welcome and honor the Pechanga people, and I would like to recognize the dignitaries from the Pechanga Tribal Tribe Council. Most of you are here today. Tribal Chairman Mark Macaro, Councilwoman Catalina Chacon, which she's on her way, I believe. Council Member Joseph Murphy. Councilwoman Louise Burke. And Tribal Treasurer Amy Manier. Other dignitaries are here today. Riverside County 3rd District Supervisor Chuck Washington. And my Temecula Council colleagues, we have Temecula Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Kalfas. We have Council Member Zach Swank. And we have Council Member Jessica Alexander. All right, I'll stop talking now, as it's an immense honor for me to welcome Chairman Mark Macaro to the podium. Chairman Macaro also serves as president of the National Congress of American Indians, representing the voice of all tribal nations across the United States, including Alaska. President, Chairman Mark Macaro.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, you did a great job with pronouncing words in our language. The only word was atahum, atahum. Atahum, you guys should say this. It means the people in our language, atahum. All right. You know, I'm trying to dial this in, right? Because somebody said they weren't good with the script, and neither am I, but I also don't have any notes, so look out. No. You know, let me start with last night. The entire month is Native American Heritage Month nationally, and last night the Temecula Ready Commission met in the room over there, and the student leadership of the Indigenous Peoples Club were present from Great Oak High School to read a proclamation. No, actually to give a little speech and a little history and their thoughts about Native American Heritage Month and kind of what it means to them. And under the leadership of Carrie Burdick Rutz, and they did a great job. Yes, are you here? Great, of course you're here. Yes, and they did a great job last night. Of course, I want to. He's not here with me. He was supposed to be, but Hudson Macaro, our sophomore son, he was part of the group. Juliana Vasquez was also one, and then there was a young lady from Paula, also with ties to one of the Pomo bands in Northern California, and the three of them did a great job. And then the commission offered their comments, and there were lots of insightful remarks that the commission made. And I deferred making any comments because I felt it was more about the children last night. So, but you know, let me just say a couple words about the mine. First of all, we at Pechanga are extremely thankful that the recognition and the honoring and the respect of this holiday. I don't know how many years it's been, but the transaction of the mine purchase took place 12 years ago in 2012, in November actually, right? November. Was it November 15th? Is that why we do this day? Actually, so much water under the bridge. The the well, where I was going with this is that some of the comments acknowledged that that it was wonderful. It is wonderful for Native American History Month to have our students in this young generation be able to talk about our customs and our heritage, our culture, even aspects of our religion, and to know what these things are and practice them today. And it it almost didn't happen. I think is where I wanted to go with this. And it certainly would not have happened without all the support we got from the community. I see an orange hat. There were thousands of orange hats at the right time. The doctors in this community, the medical professionals, over 160 backed the community's position, the tribe's position. I think all of us bringing the specialties together that would show the decision makers that the mine was truly a bad idea. And I think all of that together really made the difference in slowing things down enough for us to get to where we got. There were a couple points where we actually won the battle, and I'll just continue kind of talking over that, because I'd probably go on with a little song and then there'll be five chimes. It still feels later. And so well, I think that, look, let me just jump to this part. The part where what we were advocating was that if we lost this mountain, we would lose the one place in our oral tradition, in our songs that we still sing today, that tell us how death first came into the world and how it affected everyone else, and all the customs that we have that many of which we still do today came from the first funeral for the first person that ever died. And that first funeral took place on Pueska Mountain. And so I'll save most of this for the film, but what was acknowledged last night with the Ready Commission was the importance of being able to have that in this day, in this community, and be able to share that with the Valley and the people of the Valley. And I will tell you that the arguments we were putting forth, they were compelling. They were persuasive enough with the Planning Commission, who voted 4-1 to side with us. And then they were compelling enough, ultimately after 7.5 years, in February of 2012, to persuade the Board of Supervisors to vote 3-2 to deny the mining permit. It was just that part where somebody came up with a new rule book, and by August of that same year, somehow the mine got fast-tracked along with I think it was a renewable energy project anyway in the desert. I don't know if it was wind, I think, or it might have been solar. Whole different set of rules for review, and one of the three that voted against the mine and in favor of denying the mining permit flipped his vote. I'll save his name for the movie if you haven't seen it. And then, and so we lost. And so, we were that close really to losing it. So being fortunate to be able to be in a position to make an offer to the mining company, it really was priceless, because there's no replacing Pueska Mountain. There's no replacing that mountain and its place and its significance in our history, in our religion, in our culture. And so we're so thankful that we're here today to be able to share the clean air that we have, the beautiful aesthetic of Pueska Mountain. And, every time there's a fire in Camp Pendleton, and there were at least a couple in the last 3 months. Summer just ended, and now somebody turned on the freezer. But right over in that direction are the artillery zones for Camp Pendleton. And for some reason, they keep lighting the place on fire. So when that drift smoke comes into the valley, know that the fugitive dust from Pueska would have followed that same wind path into the valley, and we would all be inhaling that and suffering from respiratory ailments due to particulate matter over years and years and years in all of our lungs. And but had the mine proceeded, the selling point of the mining company was that the ridge line that we see today at top of Pueska would have looked exactly the same in year 76 as it does today, because they were going to mine behind the summit of the visible ridge from the valley floor looking at the mountain, and it would look exactly the same. One day I was driving back from Oceanside on Highway 76, and I spotted Pueska Mountain, and I realized this was after everything had, the mining company left town and it was coming back. And I realized that, and I think, Susan, you probably know this more than anybody else, the project was never, the county of San Diego was never part of the discussion and the debate. They were not noticed in the draft environmental impact report or any of the preparations for the mining permit, and completely out of the discussion. So everybody between like Eastern Oceanside and Bonsall and Fallbrook, I don't. If they read newspapers from here in the Valley, Press Enterprise, they might have known there was a mining battle going on. Otherwise, they were going to be clueless. So it was a stark. It was like a knee to the gut when I saw that day. So anyhow, the sad part though is that the argument of the tribe's religion is not enough these days in this country to forestall the destruction of a sacred site that belonging to a tribe. And there are places right now where there are sacred sites that are under threat. And one is the Apache site in New Mexico. I can't remember the name of it. There are others in the state of Wisconsin that are threatened there by taconite mining that's going on. And that's just, I'm not going to enumerate them. It's just enough to illustrate that that there's a bigger issue, and I don't think every tribe is fortunate to have a community to work with where they can reach common ground and common sense and realize that sometimes these mines don't make sense. So also, the largest mine in the region probably is true, the largest single mine. I think the city of Corona, however, is catching up by building multiple small mines altogether that are likely going to be at least as big as Pueska may have been. Pueska, by the way, was going to be 1 mile deep and 3 miles long, and the mining project was going to last 75 years in 3 phases. So it was a serious undertaking that granite construction was involved in. So thank you. I'm glad that the mine is gone, and we collectively did it with everybody's support here in the Valley. I want to end with one other thing, kind of in the context of Native American Heritage Month. How many of you, and if you just raise your hand, how many of you have ever taken an oath under the Constitution, or swear an oath of office of some kind, either in the military or public office or something like that? And now, if you have, there's a part where you basically swear that you will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. I just wanted, as kind of a little civics lesson, to point out that Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 3 of the Constitution of the United States, there's language, it's called the Commerce Clause of the Constitution, and in the Commerce Clause, it says that Congress shall have the power to engage in commerce with the foreign nations, the several states, and the Indian tribes. And that's been long held to be one of the most fundamental affirmations of tribal sovereignty in American law. And it's very important to tribes, because when you hear somebody mention the term tribal sovereignty, it isn't something that we're just making up. It's a recognition that the founding fathers of this country identified a need to empower the Congress of the United States to who they would be able to engage in commerce with. And so the parity of and that's parity, the parity of the sovereigns that are enumerated in that clause of the Commerce Clause is something that's very important. And that's why, because it is a parity of sovereigns, the international nations, the several states, and the Indian tribes, and so that's a very key part of the whole thing. I think the second paragraph of Article 6 has also been important because it says that the laws of Congress shall be the supreme law of the land. I know there's been lots of debate recently and forever about that, but the notion of the federal supremacy lawmaking, that's one of the statements in the second paragraph. It says the federal laws or Congress's laws shall be the supreme law of the land, and the treaties that Congress negotiates and the Senate approves. So included in what is the supreme law of the land are the treaties. And of course, there are international treaties, but for Indian tribes, it's all the treaties that have been made with tribes as sovereigns with the United States, all of which have been broken. And then the Treaty of Temecula, which was one of the 18 treaties here in California that were negotiated, went back to the Senate in 1852. Didn't get a chance to be broken because they didn't get a chance to be ratified. Somebody, still don't know who this is, took the treaties and said, you negotiated 18 treaties and there's gold, and so we cannot do this, and put them in a file folder and put them in a drawer for 45 years until 1905 when the treaties were found again. And so that's a whole nother story there. I think one of these days we may have a book under our Great Oak Press, who's right over here. And we have a new book out at Great Oak Press. I see what I did. I slipped right into an advertisement. But we're very proud of our tribal press. There are a few tribes in the country that have a press, and we're one of them. And our goal is to tell our story in any number of ways, and some is through fiction, some through lots of nonfiction, and lots of history, of course. And our latest endeavor is the Temecula Massacre book and the true facts about the massacre. So you'll find that over there. But thank you, Lauren, and thank you, Council, for supporting this endeavor as well. I will truncate my remarks at this point and turn the floor over to the next speaker. So I'm not sure who that's going to be, but I'd like to thank my fellow colleagues on the Pechanga Tribal Council for being here. And again, thank you for helping save the Pueska Mountain. You saved all of us. You saved all of our lungs. We have clean air to breathe, and we still have this mountain that is such a core part of our cultural identity and our religion. So thank you very much. I'm showing applause, everyone. Okay, now I got cold. Thanks. Yeah.
All right. Well, evidently I skipped a page talking about the Great Oak Press. And this year, the authors of the Temecula Massacre, Gary Dubois, and Lisa Woodward, are at the Great Oak Press table for a book signing opportunity. I strongly recommend buying the Temecula Massacre book, which Chairman just described. So it's, as mayor, I'd like to emphasize the city of Temecula is committed to continued learning from the tribe and to fostering our government-to-government relationship with the Pechanga Nation. Now, I would like my council colleagues who would like to share a few words. Mayor Pro Tem Kalfas.
Thank you, Mayor. I did just purchase my copy of the Temecula Massacre too, so thank you to the Pechanga tribe and the authors that are here today. Good evening. For those who I haven't met, I am Brendan Kalfas, the Mayor Pro Tem for the city of Temecula, and I've been a resident of Temecula since 1991. This battle actually began long before I was involved in politics. I was just in high school over at Temecula Valley High School, and it wasn't finished and won until I was in college, so it's awesome to see it come to fruition and be here today. What an honor. As time goes on, I realize the importance of always continuing to learn and listen. And in this journey of discovery and dialogue, I understand the importance of Temecula embracing our complex history, the tribe's profound resilience, and their invaluable contributions to our community. Today provides us with a formal opportunity to honor the tribe and to express the city's gratitude. However, it is important to note that this sentiment extends beyond just this occasion. It is my aspiration and commitment throughout the entire year and every year in the future to honor the tribe. This includes actionable items. Let us know how we can better support you, and I look forward to all of our future endeavors. Thank you.
All right, next we'll have Council Member Zach Swank.
Thank you, Mayor Stewart. It's truly an honor to be here this evening with everyone celebrating this 12th anniversary of Pechanga Pueska Mountain Day, a day that reminds us of the importance of preserving cultural heritage and respecting the sacred lands that shape our community. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Chairman Maccaro and the entire Pechanga Tribal Council for your leadership and for being here with us this evening. Your dedication to honoring your history and protecting Pueska Mountain continues to inspire us all. This is just not a day, it's a celebration. It's a reflection of what's possible when communities stand together and honor traditions, protect sacred spaces, and ensure these stories endure for generations to come. One of the things that I think about when it comes to this event is how impactful it can be to come together and to learn from one another and to try to understand each other better. And that's the one thing that I think days like today will do. So thank you for sharing your history and for teaching us what we need to learn about your culture and our community and your history. And so thank you for sharing. Thank you.
And now, Council Member Jessica Alexander.
Well, first off, I'd also like to thank and echo all the thanks to the council, all that you do within our community. Thank you for the leadership. Thank you for the community that we're able to bring together in order to be able to thrive here in Temecula as one. I'd also like to emphasize the city's commitment to protecting sites and cultural resources that are significant to the Pechanga Nation, ensuring that the development projects considered and respect their historical and cultural significance here in our city. Lastly, the importance to acknowledge the sovereignty of the Pechanga Band of Indians and ensure our city holds a high value to their traditions and history as we continue shaping our collective future for Temecula. I want to thank all of you for being here, and I look forward to seeing how the future is going to be prosperous for all of us. Thank you.
All right, we also have representatives of the federal and state and county. County Supervisor Chuck Washington was actually on the city council during the Liberty Quarry battle and worked alongside with Pechanga and the community. In fact, he was the mayor of Temecula in 2012 when Pueska Mountain was saved. Please welcome Chuck Washington.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I tried to keep you from freezing and shorten up my remarks by at least 15 or 20 minutes. Unlike the chairman and the mayor, I've actually gotten pretty good at scripts. But I have a staffer who has a master's from USC who knows me very well and writes for me so that when I read it, it sounds like something I would have said naturally. And I compliment her all the time on that. I don't know how she got in my head. But I do want to say, Kathy and I moved to the southwest Riverside County, Kathy being my wife, if you didn't know that, in 1989 with a 6-year-old. And so we've been here 35 years. I feel like we are settlers. Now, when we moved here, there were people that had been here a long time already. But then there was this massive wave, and I think you all know what I'm talking about. Hundreds of thousands of people now moving to the region and calling this home. And I'm very happy that this has become what I think now of as my forever home. And so along the way, there have been a lot of markers that make me feel like, wow, that was something. And so the mayor already mentioned that in 2012 that I was the mayor. We had been in this building when I became mayor in January of 2012. We had been in this building a year and 1 month because we moved in December 2010. And we were very excited about that, about coming here. But at the same time, the fight against the quarry went on. The year started out with us listening to Gary Sinise come to a council meeting and ask if he could put on a concert here on our steps to benefit a wounded warrior. This is a community that embraces causes, and supporting our military has long been one of those, that we support our military in this community. And so in his very professional manner, Gary Sinise and his Lieutenant Dan Band put on a concert here. We raised funds. And I'm so proud of this city because what he said afterwards was that we did it so well that they're turning what we did here into a video to show around the nation about how to prepare for a concert to benefit wounded warriors. Now, that really has nothing to do with Pueska Mountain Day, but I am sort of laying the foundation for the rest of the year because we continued the fight against the quarry. And we arrived at this place November 15th, 2012, with the incredible announcement that what many of us thought was the end of a long-fought battle that we lost because of, as the chairman put, a new rule book got put into place, and all of a sudden there was this approved EIR that could allow them to go forward and build a quarry. And so it only seemed right, appropriate, and the heroic thing to do was for us as a city to declare this as a forever holiday, celebrating. And I just love, Mark, I love the way you pointed out the smoke that comes over the hill, because that was one of our arguments. I mean, if you've ever, look at the fire on the heaters right now. It's blowing. It blows every afternoon over the ridge line and down into this valley. It would have been carrying all of the material out of the quarry that would be killing us and our children. I've already used up all the time I wanted to use up, and I didn't even get to my script yet. Are you guys okay so far? I'm going to jump ahead. It took all of us, the Pechanga Band of Indians, the city of Temecula, Save Our Southwest Hills, and numerous other community organizations in Temecula Valley, working together back then, fighting against the proposed quarry, and after that, any other ideas the property owners had for this sacred space. Throughout the battle, as one, we experienced the small victories and the devastating setbacks and challenges. We all know how it ended. The Pueska Mountain once again belongs to her rightful owners. But I'd like to take this time to think about the people who were there all along the way, because this story truly changed the relationship between the city, the tribe, and our community at large. It is the epitome of partnership, collaboration, and what can happen when we aren't so divided. And the gratitude I have for that fact alone is immense. You know, coincidentally, exactly 1 month ago today, I was at Europa Village and we were celebrating one particular individual who helped lead that charge, Kathleen Hamilton. We recognized her contributions. Yes, let's. In a very unique way, a book detailing her story, her impact, and our appreciation for both was delivered to Kathleen at that event. She was honored for many years as a local environmental activist, which of course includes the presidency of Save Our Southwest Hills group that fought alongside all of us for 8 years against the quarry project. No one can forget those vibrant orange baseball caps, Merle. Thank you for wearing your hat tonight. It's always good to see you. Like Kathleen said herself, being a part of the selfless team that stood up against the project time and time again has been one of the greatest honors and most impactful contributions to our community. Today, November 15th, is a significant day for many reasons. For me, it all felt truly full circle when I was able to declare this date as Pueska Mountain Day within Riverside County at large back in 2018 while serving as the chairman of the Board of Supervisors for the first time. And it isn't lost on me that here I am now serving in that role. And we had support for our position from our then Supervisor Stone. But this role that I get to play right now in my life, I'm sharing this with you as a personal note, is some of the most meaningful work I've ever done in my life, to be the county supervisor and to have, starting in January, another 4 years to get to do this job and serve this community. I will never forget. It will always be with me. If Kathy were here, I'd say with us, because it's been a joint effort and a joint partnership that we have been through all of what we have experienced in Southwest Riverside County. We have abiding love for this region. There are 3 generations of us living here now. But with the utmost respect for the Pechanga Band of Indians and what they've done for the community, and a humbling recognition of not only the historical significance of the landmark, but also her sacred role during the creation of the world as one of the most important places in their culture's religion. I'll wrap it up with my excitement for viewing the mountain that weeps. And I don't know if you do what we do, but after we learned about the mountain that weeps, now when I drive through the pass, we always look. We look to the mountain, we see the vegetation, we see the trees, we see the shrubbery, we see all of the living things in that mountain that would have died when they drained the water from the backside. Oh no, nothing will change, they said. Everything would have changed. Everything would have changed in that mountain, and everything would have changed in our valley here. So I'm so grateful to all of you who've made this the great place it is to live. I'm extremely grateful to the leadership of the tribe and what you've done to help us preserve this. Thank you, and thank you all for being here tonight.
All right, so Assemblywoman Kate Sanchez sends her regrets, but we do have, I don't know if Marie Waldron is here yet. Okay, so we can kind of slide by her. I also want to acknowledge that Congressman Darrell Isa's district director is here today in support of the Pechanga tribe and today's holiday. Hello, Michael. The Office of California Senator Kelly Ciarto. Welcome, Amanda, wherever you are. Oh, she just left. Okay. I recognize several former dignitaries, though I don't recognize because they're not here. So let's just skip that part. Okay. Today's tradition reaffirms the proclamation that declares Pachanga Pueska Mountain a local holiday in honor of the people of Pachanga. For those involved, if you could please line up and begin the proclamation reaffirmation. This side.
Start it off, Mayor?
Yeah.
You want me to say anything or just go right into it?
Go right into it.
Okay. We're gonna start it off.
You got the first line, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Ready? We're all here? Let's let him get lined up.
Are you warm, friend? Chilly.
Hey, how you doing? We all ready? Okay. All right, I'll get us started off. Proclamation. Whereas Pueska Mountain represents the place of the sacred creation area for all Pachanga people, and
Whereas Pueska Mountain is the Pachanga people's place of the union of Sky Father and Earth Mother, where life on earth began at Ekva Temecula, therefore holding profound cultural, historical, and spiritual importance to all Pachanga people for all time. And
Whereas Pueska Mountain was threatened to be permanently desecrated by Liberty Quarry, the most contentious land issue ever faced in Riverside County, and
Whereas the Liberty Quarry story is remembered as a collaborative and united effort by the Pachanga Band of Indians, Save Our Southwest Hills, San Diego State University, the City of Temecula, tens of thousands of citizens, business owners, community stakeholders, and all who worked tirelessly to stop the useless destruction of an environmentally and culturally sensitive mountain, and
Whereas the proposed surface mine would have irreversibly ruined the sacred creation area of the Pachanga people, and
Whereas Pueska Mountain became a symbol to many communities of people enduring the 7-year battle to protect it from a devastating and massive quarry. And
Whereas the valley's clean air, health, and general welfare of its population were threatened, as were the streams and groundwater of Pueska Mountain, the beauty of its native habitat threatened, as were the streams and groundwater of Pueska Mountain, and the beauty of its native habitat, oak trees and weeping rocks of its cultural landscape.
And Southern California's last free-flowing river to the ocean, the designated wildlife linkage between the inland and coastal mountain ranges, the Santa Margarita Ecological Reserve, the local economy, and the quality of life for the people in the valley below it. And
Whereas Pueska Mountain strengthened and bonded its surrounding communities in a common cause worth protecting until the end, and
Whereas on November 15th, 2012, Pueska was reunited with its original stewards to preserve for the future generations through a historic settlement agreement negotiated by the Pachanga Band of Indians. And
Whereas the Pechanga Band of Indians announced the end of Liberty Quarry, and as a result, the crying rocks of Puesca wept with happiness as the winds blew strong and clean. And then all the people cried with profound gratitude, and
whereas the power of Pueska Mountain protected itself, like it has since the creation of time for the Pechanga people.
Now, therefore, in heartfelt recognition, the City Council and the citizens of Temecula would like to profoundly thank the Pechanga Band of Indians.
In honor of the significant contribution of many, I, James Stu Stewart, Mayor, on behalf of the City Council of the City of Temecula, do hereby reaffirm that every November 15th shall be Pueska Mountain Day.
This is awesome. Thanks so much.
Here, wait, photos?
I'll step over here.
Okay, you and Kansas.
Okay. Are we good? We can't see you. So you have to tell us when
We don't know what anyone's doing out there.
Okay. Okay, so now it's time for the award-winning film, The Mountain That Weeps. Special thanks to Pechanga member Brad Manoa and his team at Pechanga Creative Studios for their dedicated effort condensing 8 years into less than an hour of compelling history. This film will continue to enhance the city's understanding of the challenges faced by Native Americans regarding their protection of sacred sites.